Thank you. Please be seated. Order. Members, does any member wish to give a notice of a motion? Can I take you this way? The Honorable Hatton.
Thank you, Honourable Chair. I think I should have written this. I should have written this motion a bit later because today the buses burning, arson being done in the Northwest Province, and 2 people actually have died at a clinic in the Northwest Province. Chairperson, on behalf of the Democratic Alliance, I hereby wish to move a notice of a motion that this House notes the ongoing strike by members of the National Education, Health and Allied Workers Union, NAHAWU, triggered by the awarding of a 180 million contract to the Gupta Link company, Mediosa, which continues to have serious and life-threatening consequences due to the absence of provision of medicine at state health facilities in the Northwest Province, and that this House debates the procurement and efficiency, including value for money, of the clinic facilities provided by Mediosa in the Northwest and the Free State provinces. I so move. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Does any other member, that will be the Honorable Mutlashuping?
No, thanks, Honorable Chair. On behalf of the African National Congress, I hereby wish to give a notice of a motion that in the next sitting of the Council, I shall move that the Council debates persisting irregular expenditure, fruitless and wasteful expenditure, as well as unauthorized expenditure by government departments, provinces and municipalities throughout the country. Further notes that irregular expenditure for municipalities has shot up to just over 50% compared to the previous years, amounting to 16.81 billion for the 2015 and 16 financial year. And further notes that although there has been a decline in fruitless and wasteful expenditure, the amount that the state loses from fruitless and wasteful expenditure continues to rob our people of public funds that would have been used to deliver services to our people. I so move.
Thank you, sir. The next member is the Honorable Mokwili.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I rise on behalf of the economic freedom fighters that the House note that the EFF and its leadership is aware of the plot to assassinate our Commander-in-Chief, Julius Sello Malema, that we are not going to be intimidated by the cowards and politically illiterate leadership of the ANC in the Northwest Province, that we are going to protect our Commander-in-Chief and the entire leadership of the economic freedom fighters at all costs. We call upon the Minister of Police to respond to the letter written to him by the EFF leadership on this matter. I so move.
Thank you, ma'am. The Honorable Koni.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. I rise on behalf of the economic freedom fighters that the House note that the social auxiliary workers of social development in Kuruma and Mutiwi start under the JTG district municipality in the Northern Cape are underpaid and overworked. Those social auxiliary workers are currently receiving a level 4 salary, but they are expected to do the job and the duties of a social worker who would normally receive a level 7 salary. These workers are getting exploited by the very government meant to protect them and all workers. That the House should note that NEHAWU has tried to intervene, but with no progress, and the new MEC continues to distance herself from the situation, all in the name of being new in the office, like all of the ANC leaders would do. Till today, these workers continue to be exploited. The EFF therefore call on this House to intervene and investigate this exploitation of these workers by the Northern Cape Department of Health. I so move.
Ma'am, that is a notice, that is a motion, notice of a motion. Yeah, okay. Honorable Matebula.
Thank you, Chairperson. I rise on behalf of the EFF that the House note that in Limpopo Province, under the Greater Guyana Municipality, there is a clinic by the name of Ngobe Clinic. This clinic has been operating without a door for months. Therefore, we call on the House to intervene. Thank you.
That is a notice of a motion. The Honorable Shawangu.
Thank you, Chairperson. I rise on behalf of the EFF that the House note the amazing success of all South African athletes at the Commonwealth Games in Australia. We see their achievements as a fitting tribute to Ma'am Winnie Mandela, who would have beamed with pride at the sight of Caster Semenya, a young black woman who on road to winning gold smashed the previous record for the 1,500 meters event. In our athletes at the Commonwealth Game, we saw a reflection of the potential this country has if it is properly looked after and nurtured and developed. As we saw the black South African excelling and often outperforming their white counterparts. Caster was but one of the many victories as Akani Simbine and Henrico Benches stormed to gold and silver medal victories in the men's 100 meters final. While the Tatjana Schoolmaker broke swimming legend Penny Haynes' 1999 100 meters while winning gold. These were just but some of the best moments from the Games as South Africa once again was high on the medal list. We therefore ask the House to congratulate our athletes on their performance at the 2018 Commonwealth Games. Thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Mutara.
Thank you, Chair. I hereby move with notice on behalf of the African National Congress that the House in its next sitting debates the unethical and unprofessional behavior of KPMG auditors as has transpired in the past few months. KPMG has been implicated in the Linkway trading company allegedly involved in the diversion of public funds for a Gupta wedding. KPMG is now implicated in the VBS Mutual Bank saga, which has led to the AG, Kimi Makwetu, suspending all KPMG contracts with immediate effect. And this last action by the Auditor General has resulted in all the major banks reviewing their relationship with KPMG. I so move.
Thank you, ma'am. The Honorable Kaula.
On behalf of the IFP, Inkatha Freedom Party, I give notice that at the next sitting, I shall move that the House debates the inadequate funding and low salaries paid by the government of South Africa to grade R practitioners and teachers, especially in the province of KwaZulu-Natal. I so move.
Thank you, sir. The Honorable Mampuru.
Thank you, Chairperson. I hereby give notice that in the next sitting of the Council, I shall move that the Council debates the increasing number of medical malpractice and negligence litigation claims that are costing the public health system billions of rands. Further notes that medical malpractice and negligence have increased nearly 550% compared to those of 10 years ago, putting many provincial health departments in a severe strain and not being able to meet their obligation to provide health care services to the people. Further notes that last year it was reported that the Gauteng Health Department alone had paid out at least 1 billion in lawsuits since January 2015, while the Eastern Cape is facing payouts of 14 billion, and that the Medical Protection Society South Africa in 2015 settled a claim of almost 24 million on behalf of a member and has reported a 35% increase in the number of claims made against healthcare professionals between 2011 and 2016. I so move.
Thank you, ma'am. Honorable members, is there any other member who wishes to make a notice of a motion? Date Shabangu is the another one. You are on the floor.
Thank you, Mom. I rise on behalf of the economic freedom fighter that the House note the plane crash near Algiers in Algeria on the 11th of April, which led to the death of 257 people. I further note that the plane which crashed was carrying over 100 members of the Algerian army, as well as 26 members of Polisario Front, an organization whose aim is the liberation of occupied Western Sahara from the colonial rule of Morocco. These deaths are a great loss for both countries, peoples, and the African continent. Yet we are certain that in mourning they will continue to forge ahead with the struggle for an independent Western Sahara, and will honor all those who lost their lives on this tragic day by realizing the dream of a liberation Western Sahara. We therefore call on the House to send condolences to the people and government of Algeria, to the Polisario Front, the people of occupied Western Sahara who have lost 26 revolutionaries fighting for their liberation, and to the families of all those who lost their loved ones on the 11th of April, this tragic accident. I so move.
Thank you, sir. Honorable members, we wish the Honorable Mushodi a very happy birthday today. We also want to take this opportunity to wish Honorable Matebula a belated happy birthday for yesterday. Honorable members, we wish to move on to the motions without notice. Does any member wish to make? I'm going to start this way and go this way this time. The Honorable Makuya, you are on the floor.
Thank you, Chairperson. On behalf of the African National Congress, I hereby move without notice that the Council notes and welcomes with appreciation that the President of the Republic of South Africa, His Excellency Cyril Matamela Ramaphosa, has appointed 4 investment envoys to campaign for attracting investors to boost South Africa's economy. We further note that the team, which includes Mr. Trevor Manuel, Mr. Mcebisi Jonas, Ms. Phumzile Langeni, and Mr. Jaco Maria, all with valuable experience in the world of business, investment, and finance, and they have extensive networks across a number of major markets. It aims to traverse the globe for $100 billion in investment to boost our country's ailing economy over the next 5 years. We therefore wish them well in their investment campaign that would realize our radical transformation goal for the emancipation of all our people. I so move.
Thank you, sir. Is there any objection to this motion? There is an objection to this motion, therefore, there is an objection to this motion. Therefore, we may not proceed with it. The motion without notice will now become a notice of a motion. The Honorable Mthethwa.
Thank you, Chair. On behalf of the African National Congress, I hereby move without notice that the utmost concern the nationwide bus strike, which is taking place today over a pay dispute by members of the South African Transport and Allied Workers Union, SATAU, the Transport and Omnibus Workers Union, the National Union of Mental Workers of South Africa, and the Tarisan Sano Transport Workers Union. Further note that the strike will put at least 80% of the country's passenger buses on lockdown and create enormous traffic congestion throughout the country and take this opportunity to call on the affected parties to ensure that they find speedily solution to the dispute. I so move.
Thank you, sir. Is there any objection to this motion? No objection. The motion has been carried in terms of Section 65 of the Constitution. The Honorable Kaula.
Ngiyathokoza Sihlalo. On behalf of the IFP, I move a motion without notice that the House congratulates the IFP on winning a ward in a by-election in Jozini Municipality on Wednesday, the 4th of April 2018. Notes that this ward was previously under the ANC. This was a big victory for the IFP, as previously the Jozini Municipality was somehow like a hung municipality. The IFP applauds the people of Jozini for realizing the mistake they made in 2016, and we welcome with warm hands the corrections they have made this time around. The IFP is slowly but surely making good progress towards the national and provincial elections in 2019. Nongaboni uyoze abone ukuthi iyeza indlovu. I thank you, Chair.
Thank you, sir. Is there any objection to this motion? No. The motion is agreed to in terms of Section 65 of the Constitution. The Honorable Dr. Matime.
Chairperson, thank you very, very much. On behalf of the African National Congress, I hereby move without notice that the Council 1 knows that the President of the Republic of South Africa, His Excellency President Cyril Matamela Ramaphosa, has announced the appointment of Ms. Trudy Makaya as his economic advisor. 2, further notes that the appointment of Ms. Makaya comes after the President appointed former Minister of Finance, Trevor Manuel, former Deputy Minister of Finance, Mr. Mcebisi Jonas, Executive Chairperson of Afro Pulse Group, Ms. Phumzile Langeni, and Chairman of Liberty Group, Mr. Yako Mare, as the President's Special Envoy on Investment. Chair, thirdly, further notes that Ms. Makaya has a wealth of experience as an economist who served in various companies, including servicing as a non-executive director at Vumelani Advisory Fund and MTN South Africa, and as a principal economist, as a member of the Executive Committee at the Competition Commission of South Africa from 2010 to 2014, where she was responsible for assessing the competitive effects of mergers and acquisition, analyzing complex competition enforcement cases, and appearing as an expert witness at the competition tribunal. Ms. Makanya holds an MBA and an MEC degrees in development economics from Oxford University, where she studied as a Rhodes Scholar, holding an MCOM at the University of Witwatersrand, etc.
Order members. Honorable Dr. Matime.
We affirm women, and takes this opportunity to welcome the appointment of Ms. Makanya and the several envoys that were appointed with him as an important move to further impetus in our national efforts to work tirelessly and attract foreign investment. I so move. Chairperson, we are affirming a woman here.
Oh, no.
We are affirming a woman.
Dr. Matime.
I so move. Thank you.
Order, members. Honorable Dr. Matime, your time expired a long time ago. Order, members. A long time ago. Members, it does, you know, when you chair and somebody who is older than you. Honorable Matime, affirming a woman or not, you will next time adhere to the time limitations like any other member of this House. Is there any objection to this motion? Okay. No. No not on those basis. The basis you are giving, honorable members, must actually be in terms of the substance of the motion. Two, let me address you, honorable. When she started, I thought it was a repetition of the motion of Ntate Makuye, but it wasn't, because this one concentrated on the woman Dr. Matime says we must affirm. So in that case, there was no repetition. I was worried at the beginning. So let's carry on. The honorable, I don't have a hand. Ntate Munakedi?
Thank you very much, Chairperson. I, on behalf of the ANC, hereby move without notice that the Council, one, knows with a deep sense of grief and sadness the passing away of ANC veteran, constitutional expert, diplomat, and leader, Dr. Zola Sidney Temba Square, after a protracted illness just a few days before his birthday on 14th April, when he would have turned 76 years of age. Further knows that Dr. Square, who was born in 1942 in Simonstown in Cape Town, to Winnie Square, played a pivotal role in the constitutional negotiations in the CODESA process and committees, and became a member of parliament in 1994 and immediately assumed the position of Minister of Public Service and Administration. And in 1999, he was appointed as Minister of Social Development, a post he held for 10 years until 2009, before he was appointed as High Commissioner of South Africa to the United Kingdom and Ireland. 3, takes this opportunity to express its heartfelt condolences to the Square family and expresses gratitude for sharing the life of their departed beloved son, father, uncle, and grandfather with the people of South Africa, and most importantly, the ANC, which he served with profound distinction until his untimely death. I so move.
Thank you, sir. Is there any objection to this motion? Thank you. The motion is carried. We continue with the list. I have the Honorable Mampuru.
Thank you, Chairperson. I hereby move without notice on behalf of the African National Congress that the House congratulate the Queenship of the Balubedi that was restored in a celebration held on 7 April 2018. Also notes that the Balubedi Queenship was officially recognized in March 2016 after the Commission of Traditional Leadership Disputes and Claims conducted research on its status. Further notes that Queen Masala Nabo Muchaji, who will be coronated when she turns 18, will take over from an uncle who stepped in as a regent after her mother passed away in 2015. Therefore, congratulate the Balubedi Queenship on this historic occasion. I so move.
Thank you, ma'am. Is there any objection to this motion? We continue. The Honorable Stock.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson. I hereby move on behalf of the African National Congress to move a motion without notice that the House notes and congratulates Advocate Ronald Uzi Lamola for attaining his second master's degree. The House further notes that Advocate Lamola is one of the youngest members of the ANC National Executive Committee and also the National Working Committee of the ANC, who has served in various structures of the African National Congress, including as Deputy President of the ANC Youth League, and takes this opportunity to call upon all young people to emulate the leadership, perspective, and courage of Advocate Lamola, and to take advantage of the opportunities that are being made available to them and to acquire education so as to improve their material conditions. I so move.
Is there any objection to this motion? None. The Honorable Oliphant.
Chair, mine was about the Honorable Zola Sequoia and Mama Winnie Mandela. It's been done.
Thank you, ma'am. The Honorable Hatton.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. On behalf of the Democratic Alliance, I hereby wish to move without notice that this House congratulates all the South African athletes who represented South Africa at the 2018 Commonwealth Games in the Gold Coast, Australia. They have truly made their country proud. Team South Africa brought no less than 37 medals home, including a gold medal in the 100-meter sprint, a first for South Africa. Athletes in the following sporting codes won medals: athletics 14, swimming 12, bowls 5, cycling 2, wrestling 2, triathlon 1, and weightlifting 1. I so move.
Thank you, sir. Is there any objection to this motion? Content is not similar. The other motion, notice of a motion, concentrated on the different end named, the sporting code. This one is a general motion of congratulations. The Honorable, is there any objection? None? The Honorable Klimbi?
Thank you, Chairperson. On behalf of the African National Congress, I hereby move without notice that the Council notes with grief and sadness that as the entire nation, and in particular the People's Movement, is mourning the loss of its stalwarts during the month. The Revolutionary People's Camp of the Western Cape has also been visited by a dark cloud of misfortune. It is with profound sadness that within few weeks, we lost some of our people's leaders, like Archie Sibeko, who is the common known as Zola Zembe, his combat name. Tembekile Ghost Plaki, Yengwayo Wilberforce Kuta, Andy Christine Julis, and Tombekaya Tukelo. Further, that these souls, through their contributions to the struggle for liberation and our emancipation in different capacities, they form part of the backbone of our disadvantaged communities and advocates of democracy. Our heartfelt condolences to their respective families. Our prayers are with them in the difficult times of loss. May their souls rest in peace. Ambani kahle madela kufa, mathandazwe akuthi. So I move, Chairperson.
Thank you, sir. Is there any objection to this motion? Motion is carried. Is there any other member who wishes to make a motion without notice? Member Mpuru, you are the last.
Thank you, Chairperson. I hereby move without notice on behalf of African National Congress that the House knows that Mohadi Castasmenya, South African star athlete, was at a facilitating best when she won the gold medal in both the 800-meter and 1,500-meter at the Commonwealth Games in Australia. Also know that Castasmenya dedicated a 1,500-meter gold medal to the people of a country after she smashed the Zolabat national record by more than 1 second. Further know that Casta won the 800-meter race in a new Commonwealth Games record. Therefore, congratulate Mohadi Castasmenya on her outstanding achievement. Thank you. I so move.
Is there any objection to this motion? No. Members, we now come to the motion that stands in the order paper in the name of the Chief Whip.
Thanks, Chairperson. I move that the Council knows the effective functioning of political parties is fundamental to the promotion of constitutional democracy in South Africa, and particularly the ability of such organizations to represent the public. Further knows that political parties require adequate funding in order to perform their functions and enhance democracy, and that the manner and transparency of such funding are paramount in the context of building public confidence in the political system. Acknowledges that the public funding for political parties represented in the national and provincial legislatures is provided inter alia through the Public Funding of Represented Political Parties Act 1997, number 103 of 1997. Establishes an ad hoc committee in terms of Council Rule 160. The committee inquire into and make recommendations on funding of political parties represented in national and provincial legislatures in South Africa with a view to promoting or proposing amendments to political party funding bill as transmitted by the National Assembly to it if necessary, and in so doing consider, 1, the model of public and private funding for political parties, and 2, the need for and possible means of regulating private funding in all its forms, as well as investment entities owned by political parties. Consist of 9 members. The committee should consist of 9 members, exercise those powers in Rule 103 that may assist it in carrying out its tasks, and report to the Council upon completion of its tasks. I so move, Chair. Thanks.
Thank you. There is no speakers list. I shall now put the question. The question is that the motion be agreed to. In accordance with Rule 71, I shall first allow provinces the opportunity to make their declaration to vote if they so wish. Their declarations will not be more than 3 minutes. I shall start off by giving first opportunity to the Eastern Cape, if they so wish to make a declaration.
No declaration, Chair.
Is there any other province that wishes to make a declaration? Is there any other province which wishes to make a declaration? No? In that case, I shall now call upon provinces to vote on the question, and I shall do so in alphabetical order. The heads of delegation will vote in favor or against or abstain. Eastern Cape?
Eastern Cape supports, Chair.
Free State?
Free State support, Chair.
Gauteng?
Gauteng agrees.
KwaZulu-Natal?
KwaZulu-Natal agrees.
Limpopo?
Limpopo re a dumela.
Mpumalanga?
Mpumalanga agrees.
Northern Cape?
Northern Cape agrees.
Northwest?
Northwest agrees.
Western Cape?
Western Cape support.
Thank you very much. All 9 provinces have voted. All 9 provinces have voted in favor. Therefore, the motion has been agreed to in terms of Section 65 of the Constitution. The Secretary will read the first order. Oh, Chief Whip.
Thanks very much, Chair. I rise to move that we amend the order paper to defer orders 1 to 5. We have just been informed that the chairperson of the Select Committee on Education and Recreation, Arts and Culture, Basic Education, Higher Education, Sport, and as I highlighted, Honorable Zwane is not well, and so I move that this be deferred 1 to 5. She's not here. Thanks.
Honorable members, I put the question to the House. Does the House agree with deferring orders 1 to 5? Does the House agree? Thank you very much. We therefore proceed. Will the Secretary read the next order?
Consideration of report of Select Committee on Social Services. Oversight visit to eThekwini Municipality in KwaZulu-Natal Province, 4 to 8 September 2018.
Thank you very much. We invite the Honorable Kaula.
Honorable Chairperson, colleagues, on behalf of the Chairperson of the Select Committee and the committee, I would like to present the oversight report of the committee on its visit to KwaZulu-Natal. The Select Committee on Social Services conducted an oversight visit to the KwaZulu-Natal province during September 2017. The decision to conduct an oversight trip to KwaZulu-Natal followed a decision taken during the National Council of Provinces Strategic Planning Session held in September 2014 and its annual planning session held during February and March 2017. In line with the National Development Plan, the medium-term strategic framework, priorities of the 5th term of Parliament, and the mandate of the committee, the oversight undertaken in KwaZulu-Natal focused on 4 key portfolios, which are health, water and sanitation, human settlements, and home affairs. This was achieved by visiting specific projects and programs implemented by the above-stated departments. In KwaZulu-Natal, the committee visited the eThekwini local municipal area. Key focus areas per department were identified. The committee thus conducted oversight on health services offered at Eddington Hospital and Cato Manor Community Health Care Center, and also a day hospital. In terms of human settlements, the committee focused on the Konubia Housing Development Project. In terms of water and sanitation, the committee focused on bulk water supply through receiving a presentation from the Department of Water and Sanitation. Lastly, the Durban Harbour was visited as an area relating to the Department of Home Affairs. This report provides an overview of the areas the oversight focused on, highlights the findings from the sites that were visited, and reported challenges. Based on these, recommendations and issues for follow-up have been identified and have been made. A range of challenges were observed during the visit to Eddington Hospital. These included staff shortages as the filling of posts is prioritized according to budget availability, an aging workforce resulting in increased retirements and potential ill health, decreased capacity, lengthy recruitment processes resulting in loss of potential candidates, and severe infrastructural issues, including plumbing, leaks, electrical issues, and non-functional fire detection and insufficient firefighting systems, faulty lifts. Other challenges included inappropriate companies tendering for items and then failing to supply, bed shortages, high-risk patients are diverted to other hospitals, and there is a high maternal mortality rate, and at the time of the oversight visit, not all machines were functional, including the oncology machines. The committee recommended to the Provincial Department of Health that the following takes place in the 2017-18 to 2019-20 financial years. 1, that the infrastructure maintenance and renewal program is progressively implemented. 2, transversal contracts for commonly utilized items are being put in place. 3, both financial and supply chain management delegations have been increased to 500,000. Implementation is in progress. 4, additional staff should be employed. 5, additional beds should be acquired. At the Cato Manor Community Health Center, the committee noted challenges related to the facility operating with 1 acute nurse and a professional nurse. The facility has a combined waiting area, of which the waiting time is 3 hours due to a shortage of consulting rooms. There is no Home Affairs office at the facility, and there is a shortage of midwives. There were also infrastructure challenges. The committee recommended that 1, the facility management staff should conduct a survey to assess various patient needs. 2, the National and Provincial Department of Health should assist with equipping the facility with staff and infrastructure needs. In relation to housing for military veterans in the province, a number of challenges have been identified, including the slow progress in the approval of military veterans by the National Department of Military Veterans. The fact that the most of military veterans approved in the housing subsidy system currently reside in the eThekwini Metro, where technical verifications of sites is ongoing. Where serviced sites have been identified and are ready for construction, the beneficiaries are not approved by the Department of Military Veterans. The process of enrolling houses with NHBRC before construction commences on site is taking long due to geotech assessment that need to be done prior to enrollment. Social issues in Mkumbane within eThekwini have resulted in work stoppages on site due to Richview Gardens homeowners not wanting 50 square kilometer houses for military veterans built within their homes, as they view these houses to reduce the value of their homes in the market. Some military veterans have invaded the breaking new ground houses in eThekwini on the following projects: Konupia, Hammond Farm, Kingsburg West, and Pilani Valley. Measures were being implemented by government stakeholders to address these challenges. In relation to Konupia housing project, some of the main challenges reported include the codes and budget allocation do not coincide. Foreign nationals were seizing houses from beneficiaries, and maintenance of houses was not always managed and executed correctly. Challenges identified at the Durban Harbour relate to the lack of infrastructure and office buildings, large numbers of stowaways detected at the port, an insufficient IT system, and not all vehicles are in good condition. The committee recommended that the Department of Home Affairs assist with the shortage of staff, and the committee will continue to conduct oversight on the ports of entries and harbors of South Africa. The sites were visited with various stakeholders and role players, provincial and national departmental officials. This proved to be a fruitful exercise as it enabled the stakeholders and role players to see and understand progress made in relation to the projects. The committee has requested that a report on the full scope of the issues be submitted to it. The committee deliberated and concluded that in the main, the following are crucial in strengthening the projects visited. 1, funding issues to be taken up with National Treasury. KwaZulu-Natal has aging infrastructure across the province, which has not been maintained and thus contributed to this enormous problem. 2, funding issues relating to employment of staff at key government facilities, for example, hospitals, ports of entries, the importance of taking into account policy implications during the planning phase of projects. 3, the need for strengthened intergovernmental relations and thus better coordinated collaboration. And 4, comprehensive monitoring and reporting of progress. Following this undertaking, the Select Committee on Social Services will continue to undertake oversight on the identified projects. I thus present this report, Chairperson.
Thank you very much. That concludes the debate. That concludes the debate. I shall now put the question, and the question is that the report be agreed to. As the decision is dealt with in terms of Section 65 of the Constitution, I shall first ascertain, and I see all heads of delegates are in the House, and in terms of section of Rule 71, I shall allow the provinces, if they so wish, to make declaration. Does any province wish to make a declaration? No? Then I shall proceed to put the question to the vote. Will heads of delegations please vote now? Eastern Cape.
Eastern Cape support, Chair.
Free State.
Free State here,
Gauteng.
Gauteng supports.
KZN. Limpopo.
Limpopo siyavuma.
Mpumalanga.
Siyavuma nathi Mpumalanga sla.
Northern Cape.
Northern Cape agrees.
Northwest.
Northwest agrees.
Western Cape. Thank you very
Jona
much.
Colonial class.
Siyabonga. All 9 provinces have voted in the affirmative. Therefore, the report has been agreed to. We proceed to the next order.
Consideration of report of Select Committee on Social Services, oversight visit to Bombela, Bushbuck Ridge and Nkomazi local municipalities in Mpumalanga province, 27 to 31 March 2017.
Are you also doing the Bushbuck Ridge in Bombela? Oh, yes.
Oh, angithokoze sihlalo hloniphekile. Siyaqhubha. On behalf of the chairperson of the Select Committee, I would like to present the report on the oversight visit to Mpumalanga by the Select Committee on Social Services. The Select Committee on Social Services conducted an oversight visit to the Mpumalanga province during the week of 27 to 21 March 2017. The decision to conduct oversight visits at various areas in the province followed a decision taken during the National Council of Provinces Strategic Planning Session held in September 2014 and annual planning session held in February and March 2017. The committee visited the Mbombela, Bushbuck Ridge, and Nkomazi local municipal areas. The purpose of the visit was to conduct oversight on all sectors within the mandate of the committee, which are health, home affairs, human settlements, social development, and water and sanitation. This was achieved by visiting specific projects and programs implemented by the various departments. In projects and programs visited, amongst others, the health services offered at Rob Ferreira Hospital and Tegwane South Clinic. The Home Affairs Office in Mbombela was visited regarding the issuing of identification documents, processes followed, and all matters relating to documentation. A two-song service center that offers South African Social Security Agency services and processes identity documents was also visited. In terms of human settlements, the committee focused on the Tegwane housing project. In terms of water and sanitation, the committee focused on bulk water supply and the development of the Oxane water treatment scheme. Lastly, the Swartfontein Treatment Center and Nzalama Early Childhood Development Center were visited as areas relating to social development. In line with the National Development Plan, medium-term strategic framework, priorities of the 5th Parliament, and the mandate of the committee, the oversight undertaken in Mpumalanga focused on the above-mentioned 5 priorities. The sites were visited with various stakeholders and role players, provincial and national departmental officials. This proved to be a fruitful exercise as it enabled the stakeholders and role players to see and understand progress made in relation to the projects. The committee noted that while progress has been made at the Rob Ferreira Hospital in Mbombela, outstanding challenges remain. The committee made several recommendations, including that 1, the hospital management should motivate for an installation of security cameras as part of its long-term planning. 2, training in patient care should be offered to help address negative staff attitude. 3, patient satisfaction surveys should be conducted at least quarterly. 4, in addition, there should be monitoring of findings and implementation of interventions. At the Mbombela Regional Home Affairs Office, challenges identified included the fact that the office is still using paper-based system, which is prone to corruption. The committee's recommendations include that 1, computers and printers be procured as soon as possible. 2, furthermore, the committee recommended that corruption be addressed and stricter penalties be applied. The department should erect shelter, especially for the disabled and the elderly. At the Swartfontein Treatment Center, a comprehensive aftercare program is necessary in order to assist with lifelong sobriety. Vocational skills and training are necessary for the users, and at the time of the visit, social workers in the province were embarking on a strike action. The committee recommended that the department try to find creative ways to assist the center in terms of staff requirement as well as vocational training and long-term aftercare. A key challenge identified at the Oxane water treatment plant was that ownership of the scheme was not yet finalized. The committee recommended that 1, Rand Water should be approached immediately and take ownership of the project. 2, the Bushbuck Ridge local municipality must engage with the role players of this project as the water scheme will service them as well. At the Nzalama Early Childhood Development Center, findings include that the center was built to accommodate 100 children, but now accommodates 148 children. The committee recommended that the Department of Social Development must follow up on the 48 learners that are not funded. Challenges at the Mbangwane Tusong Center include funding constraints, water shortages, maintenance issues, and computers that have not yet been installed by the Department of Public Works. The committee recommended that the Department of Social Development should monitor and interact with the community in getting them to use the services offered, that the Department of Public Works should proceed with signing and implementation of the service level agreements, and that printers and computer equipment should be procured in order to assist the various departments with their work. Challenges at the Tegwane South Clinic include negative staff attitude, incomplete adult and pediatric resuscitation trolleys, long waiting times, staff shortages, and the fact that certain medications were out of stock. The committee recommended that the Department of Health must assist with staff training and recruiting to alleviate waiting times and adjust staff attitudes. 2, equipment should be budgeted for and then procured. At the Tegwane South and North housing projects, it was reported to the committee that theft and vandalism on site, insufficient bulk water services, and unavailability of electricity infrastructure remain challenges in the area. The committee recommended that the Department of Human Settlements should carefully monitor the projects under construction until completion. 2, furthermore, the committee recommended that beneficiaries entitled to housing units be allocated the houses when they get finished. Due to protest action, the municipality and ward councillor were unavailable. Therefore, the committee would have to revisit the site when an opportunity arises. The committee deliberated and concluded that the following are crucial in strengthening the projects visited. 1, the importance of taking into account policy implications during the planning phase of projects. 2, the need for strengthened intergovernmental relations and thus better coordinated and collaborated. 3, the importance of ensuring that the list of beneficiaries who are meant to occupy the breaking new ground units is captured appropriately, and allocations are done according to the housing register in line with policy. And 4, comprehensive monitoring and reporting of progress. Following this undertaking, the Select Committee on Social Services will continue to conduct oversight of the identified projects. I thank you, Chair.
That concludes the debate. I shall proceed to put the questions, and the question is that the report be agreed to. We proceed to the voting. Eastern Cape.
Eastern Cape, iyavumelana ne-report sihlalo.
Free State.
Free State, amohela Chair.
Gauteng.
Gauteng agrees.
KZN.
Natalia for.
Limpopo.
Limpopo re a dumela.
Mpumalanga.
Mpumalanga agrees.
Northern Cape.
Northern Cape agrees.
Northwest.
Northwest agrees.
Western Cape. Thank you very much. All 9 provinces have voted in the affirmative. Therefore, the report has been agreed to in terms of Section 65 of the Constitution. The next order of the day, please.
Consideration of report of Select Committee on Social Services, oversight visit to Solplaatje local municipality in Northern Cape Province, 14 to 18 August 2017.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Stock.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. The Select Committee on Social Services conducted an oversight visit to the Northern Cape Province during the week of the 14th till the 18th of August 2017. The decision to conduct an oversight trip at Northern Cape followed a decision which was taken by the committee and also the strategic planning session which was held on the 1st to the 2nd of September 2014. In line with the National Development Plan and the medium-term strategic framework, priorities of the 5th term of Parliament and the mandate of the committee, the oversight visit undertaken in the Northern Cape focused on 5 key portfolios, which is health, water and sanitation, human settlement and social development. This was done by visiting the specific projects and programs implemented by the above stated departments in the Northern Cape.
Key focus areas per department were identified. The committee conducted oversight on health services offered at the Kimberley Hospital and Khalishiwe Community Health Care Day Center. In terms of the human settlements, the committee focused on the Larato Park military veterans projects. In terms of the water and sanitation, the committee focused on bulk water supply. Lastly, the Larato Park place of safety was also visited, and an area relating to social development. On the primary concerns related to Kimberley Hospital is the aging infrastructure, which the committee have actually taken note of. There are budgetary constraints which led to the supply chain delays in relation to addressing some of the aging infrastructure program, which was supposed to be rolled out by the Department of Social Development. The committee noted the challenges and made the following recommendations. The committee recommended to the Provincial Department of Health that during the 2017-18 to 2019-20 financial years, the MRI machine should be replaced and an additional orthopedic theater should be opened. 6 high care beds should be opened and a feasibility study prior to procuring the radiotherapy equipment in the hospital. At the Khalishiwe Community Health Care Center, key challenges include that the center operates with 9 doctors, of which 4 are community service trainee doctors that require supervision. Approximately 350 patients are seen per day, indicating the high demand for the services. The dental unit does not have essential equipment and the dental chair is not functional and needs to be replaced. A suction machine and an air compressor are also needed due to this. The committee knows the following challenges and made the following recommendation. The committee recommends that the facility management staff should conduct a survey to assess the various patient needs and also forward such requests also to the national department. And the committee also deliberated and concluded that the following are crucial in strengthening the projects that were visited during that oversight. Number 1, funding issues to be taken up with the National Treasury. The Northern Cape is a vast province that needs funds allocated to various portfolios, are unable to cater to the needs because of the geographical spread also of the province and the high demand of the population of the Northern Cape. The importance of taking into account policy implications during the planning phase of the projects, the need for strengthened intergovernmental relations and thus better coordinated collaboration, comprehensive monitoring and reporting of progress, continuous monitoring of the Larato Park place of safety and communication between the department and the center management. Following this undertaking, the Select Committee of Social Services will continue to conduct oversight and follow up on the commitments that were made. I hereby table this committee report to be considered by the House. I thank you.
Thank you very much. That concludes the debate. I shall now put the question, and the question is that the report be agreed to. I shall proceed to go to the provinces for the vote. The Eastern Cape.
Eastern Cape iyavumelana nereport esihlalo.
The Free State.
Ha ke o leboha modulasetulo Free State e amohela ka matsoho a mabedi.
Gauteng.
Gauteng agrees.
KwaZulu-Natal agrees.
Limpopo.
Re a leboga, re a dumela.
Mpumalanga.
We agree, Chair Mpumalanga.
Northern Cape. Northwest.
Northern Cape agree, Chair.
Northwest.
It can be that Northern Cape votes twice. It can be.
Agrees.
The Western Cape.
First Cap understand.
Thank you, Mafro. The Northern Cape must get their stories right. Okay, can we please proceed? Honorable members, the question has been put. All 9 provinces have agreed. Therefore, the question has been agreed to. We proceed to the next order of the day.
Consideration of report of Select Committee on Social Services, joint study tour with Select Committee on Education and Recreation to Indonesia, Singapore and Malaysia.
The Honorable T.K. Mampuru.
Ke ya go leboga modulasetulo. The Select Committee on Social Services undertook its first study tour in the 5th Parliament in line with its annual performance plan and strategic plan to 3 countries, namely Indonesia, Singapore, and Malaysia. The study tour took place from 10 to 19 July 2017. The aims of the study tour were to explore, understand, and learn from the Singapore and Malaysia healthcare system and the Indonesia and Singapore water and sanitation system. This report therefore reflects the learning from the healthcare, water and sanitation system of the visited countries. Provision of water and sanitation services in Indonesia's informal settlement. In this regard, Chairperson, the committee gained valuable experiences and information in the provision of water and sanitation services in Indonesia's informal settlements. In recent years, the Indonesian government identified the lack of access to adequate water and sanitation services as a key challenge to be addressed. It has placed specific emphasis not only on urban settlement, but informal settlement and rural areas. It has since embarked on a number of projects and programs to address this issue. For example, in 2010, the Settlement Sanitation Development Program was launched to provide access to adequate sanitation to 80% of urban households by 2014. At the time the program was estimated to cost US $5.5 billion, the program was aimed at developing wastewater services in 226 cities, build sanitary landfills which would serve 240 urban areas and stop inundation in strategic urban locations, covering around 22,500 hectares. In Singapore, about water and health system, the committee also visited Singapore where it learned about the country's water and health system. I must say, Honorable Chairperson, that we came to realize that Singapore has a successful universal health coverage system that it has been implementing for years. Singapore's medical facilities are among the finest in the world. As a committee, we felt that the South African government can draw enormous experiences as it moves to implement an ideal clinic initiative which seeks to provide world-class healthcare facilities. In terms of water services, Singapore has long recognized the vital role the provision of a sustainable water supply plays in its future prosperity. It is within this background that the committee felt it would benefit in performing a well-informed oversight in the rollout of NHI in South Africa. Honorable Chairperson, we also came to realize that there are a number of similarities between the healthcare system of Malaysia and South Africa. Over the past few decades, the Malaysian government has successfully implemented UHC, better known as NHI, in South Africa. The socio-economic development in Malaysia over the few decades has brought about significant improvement in the general health status of the population, partly due to sustained investment into social infrastructure such as schools and health facilities. The country's public healthcare system has gradually improved and provides comprehensive care at minimal fees to the country's citizens. Due to healthcare reforms in the country, Malaysia can claim to have achieved UHC, the ultimate health system goal of the World Health Organization. It was due to this background that the committee identified Malaysia to be part of the study tour. Honorable Chairperson, the Select Committee on Social Services found that the engagements experienced by means of the study were very enlightening. We were also impressed that our country has similar policies and plans that we can benefit enormously from the experiences of countries such as Singapore and Malaysia in addressing some of the challenges that we are facing in the provision of water and sanitation, as well as affordable universal health care to our people. Singapore has 4 sources of water, namely desalinated water, new water, imported water, and water from the local catchment areas. It is argued that there has been a clear political intent and widespread public support of ensuring national water security and establishing a diversified, clear, safe, and sustainable water supply that is sufficient to meet the country's growing demand for water going forward. Overall, the committee applauds the initiatives taken by the countries in trying to create a better life for all their citizens. The strategies implemented by the various countries can be achieved in South Africa if granted the right skills, planning, and monitoring which will be put in place in line with the required financial resources. Modula Situlo, as a committee, would like to express our appreciation to the leadership of the Council, particularly the House Chairperson on committees, the Chief Whip of the Council, and yourself, Madam Chairperson, for affording us this very important opportunity to not only learn from other countries to enrich our national efforts, but also share our experiences with other countries on the progress that we are making in changing the lives of our people. I thank you. I so move, Chairperson.
Thank you very much. That concludes the debate. I shall now put the question. And the question is that the report be agreed to. I shall proceed to the voting on the question and ask the leaders of delegations to vote. And I now called upon the Eastern Cape.
Eastern Cape agreed, Chair.
The Free State.
Free State support, Chair.
Gauteng.
Gauteng agrees.
Natal.
KwaZulu-Natal agrees.
Limpopo.
Limpopo agrees.
Mpumalanga.
Mpumalanga agrees.
Northern Cape.
Northern Cape agrees.
Northwest.
Northwest agrees.
The Western Cape.
Western Cape agrees.
Thank you very much. All 9 provinces have voted in favor, and therefore the report has been agreed to in terms of Section 65 of the Constitution. The Secretary will read the next order of the day.
Consideration of report of Select Committee on Finance, budget performance and progress made with the implementation of integrated development plans of the City of Ekurhuleni, City of Johannesburg, and City of Tshwane metropolitan municipalities.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Mutara.
Thank you, Chairperson. Chairperson, I hereby wish to table the report on behalf of the Chairperson of the Select Committee on Finance. The Select Committee on Finance took a decision as part of its mandate to exercise fiscal oversight over municipalities as well as to coordinate support given to the municipalities on a continuous basis, and therefore it agreed to engage with 3 Gauteng metros, those being the City of Johannesburg, City of Tshwane, and the City of Ekurhuleni. We undertook this engagement in August 2017. The committee focused on the metro's socio-economic performance, its financial positions, and the ability to spend and report based on the AG's audit opinions. The 8 metros across the country are the engines of the South African economy, collectively generating close to 60% of the national GDP, hosting 60% of the population, and creating about 50% of all employment, according to Stats SA. The Gauteng, being the economic hub of South Africa, accounts for 35% of the national GDP. The 3 metros are home to 87% of the Gauteng population as at 2015 census. It attracts the largest number of migrants. The economic activity and jobs that are concentrated in the 3 metros are of the highest amount. Unemployment rate, however, is also 27.6% in 2015, and this was higher than the national average, which at the time was 24.5%. Other challenges include long-term unemployment, which continues to rise, especially among the youth and those with low educational qualifications and inadequate skills. And in terms of poverty, on average, about 34% of the population of the 3 metros combined still live below the poverty rate of 577 Rand a month, which is the upper poverty line, also in 2015. The province, however, has made significant progress in providing basic services to the people over time. But the share of households with access to electricity was lower in all regions in 2014 than in 2010. This may be due to the increase in the number of informal settlements. Overall, Gauteng's metro fiscal position, according to the National Treasury analysis, it indicated that Gauteng metros were not in financial distress in 2016. Nationally, all 8 metro municipalities were owed a total of 57 billion Rand in outstanding debt, at the end of December 2016. The City of Johannesburg Metro is still owed the largest amount of 17.7 billion rand, followed by the City of Ekurhuleni at 12.7 billion rand and the City of Tshwane at 8.4 billion rand. The debt owed by government agencies to these metros amounts to approximately 1.7 billion rand, or 3% of the total outstanding debt owed to metros. This comes as a concern to us, for in order for metropolitan municipalities to continue functioning well, their financial status must not be put under pressure by debt owed to them. In terms of the AG's audit performance of the 3 metros and the municipal entities that report to these metros, there has been some improvements in all 3 metros and entities over the last 5 years. The latest 2015-16 audit report, however, showed some regression in 1 metro and 2 of the 21 municipal entities. The overall observations of the committee was that the fiscal positions of the 3 metros have improved, and the committee noted the efforts made to address the AG audit opinions and to improve service delivery in the Gauteng province as a whole. The areas that need the committee to follow up, and as a committee we have agreed and committed to do follow-ups, include the spending of the urban settlement development grants in Johannesburg and Ekurhuleni metros in light of the housing backlogs, the ever-ongoing billing crisis in the City of Johannesburg, the City of Tshwane's contract on the installation of the smart meters, which amount to 3 billion rand, progress with implementation of the City of Johannesburg's Harambee Transport Project, the City of Ekurhuleni's Harambee Transport Project, and underspending in key areas such as capital infrastructure and maintenance, as well in the City of Ekurhuleni. The committee will continue to engage with the metros to ensure that they align their respective growth and economic development plans with the NDP priorities. The committee will further monitor progress with regards to the metros' partnerships and collaboration with the 3 spheres of government, state-owned entities, public-private partnerships, and broader society in the interest of intergovernmental relations, as well as to address cross-cutting service delivery issues. The committee observed that there is a need to enhance integrated planning and budgeting in the 3 metros to address service delivery backlogs and ensure an efficient transport system in the province. Since the Gauteng metros are key recipients of SA migrants, planning and budgeting should continuously project increased demand for social services. The committee therefore will continue with the fiscal oversight over the municipalities and follow up on areas of non-compliance with the PFMA, as well as the MFMA, and areas that require implementation of consequence management. I hereby table the report. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That concludes the debate. I shall put the question, and the question is that the report be agreed to. I shall proceed to the voting. Heads of delegates, we start with you, the Eastern Cape.
Eastern Cape agrees with the report.
Free State.
Free State, yeah, Chair.
Gauteng.
Gauteng agrees.
KwaZulu-Natal.
KwaZulu-Natal agrees.
Limpopo.
Limpopo re a dumela.
Mpumalanga.
Mpumalanga agrees.
Northern Cape.
Northern Cape re a dumela.
Northwest.
Northwest agrees.
Western Cape. Thank you very much. The question has been agreed to in terms of Section 65 of the Constitution. Will you please read the next order of the day?
Consideration of report of Select Committee on Security and Justice, provisional suspension from office of Magistrate L. Zanzi.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Mtimunye.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Honorable Chair, the National Council of Provinces, through your Honorable Office, referred the matter of the provisional suspension of Magistrate Mr. L. Zanzi and the subsequent report on the matter to the Select Committee on Security and Justice for consideration and reporting back. The Magistrates Commission provisionally suspended Magistrate Mr. L. Zanzi pending an investigation into his fitness to hold the office of the magistrate, and reported to the committee on his progress with the matter. The Magistrates Commission came back to the committee chair for the second time to report on the passing on of Magistrate L. Zansi on a car accident while traveling to Middelburg in the Eastern Cape on July 12, 2016. The Magistrates Commission therefore closed its file on the matter due to the passing on of the magistrate in question. We therefore recommend, Chair, as a committee, that having considered the report of the Magistrates Commission on the passing of Magistrate on L. Zansi and the provisional suspension of this very magistrate, that the National Council of Provinces accordingly remove the matter from its role. And I therefore table this report on behalf of the committee to the House for consideration.
That concludes the debate. I shall now put the question, and the question is that the report be agreed to. We proceed with the vote in the Eastern Cape.
Eastern Cape agrees, Chair.
Free State.
Free State, ya dumela, Chair.
Gauteng.
Gauteng agrees.
KwaZulu-Natal.
KwaZulu-Natal agrees.
Limpopo.
Limpopo stems up.
Mpumalanga.
Mpumalanga agrees.
Northern Cape.
Northern Cape, ya dumela.
Northwest.
Northwest agrees.
Western Cape.
Western Cape agrees.
Thank you very much. All provinces have agreed. Therefore, the report has been agreed to in terms of Section 65 of the Constitution. The Secretary will read the 12th, 13th, and 14th orders of the day.
Consideration of report of Select Committee on Petitions and Executive Undertaking. Hearing of the Provincial House of Traditional Leaders petition held at Parliament on 18 May 2016, and hearing of the Khasikgalelos Community Petition hearing held at the Park Hotel, Mokopane, Limpopo, and the hearing of the Makudubela petition held at Parliament on 8 June 2017.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Klimbi.
Chairperson, thank you. Ujulwe kodwa. Chairperson, thank you very much. And on behalf of the committee, let me present this report. Chairperson, the Provincial House of Traditional Leaders petition was submitted to the National Council of Provinces on behalf of the Provincial House of Traditional Leaders in the Western Cape Province by Mr. Christoffrans, referred to as Mr. Fritz-Franz, or petition in two separate instances. The first petition submitted by Mr. Franz is dated 13th November 2014 and was referred to the Select Committee on Petition and Executive Undertaking on the 20th of November 2014. Chairperson, the COISAN, as the COISAN bill aimed to inter alia provide for the recognition of traditional and COISAN community and COISAN traditional leaders, and the National Department of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs is to encourage and foster the cooperation government, almost COISAN communities and the relevant government departments of the passing of the COISAN leadership, Chairperson. Chairperson, the recommendation of the committee. The committee knows that this should be referred to the House of Traditional Leaders to fast-track the integration of the COISAN community. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you. Say you proceed to the next.
Thank you, Chairperson. The next one, Chairperson, is the Africa Skills College petition, dated 23rd March 2015,
and also was referred to the chairperson of the Select Committee on Petition and Executive Undertaking by the chairperson of the National Council of Provinces on the 12th of June, 2015. Chairperson, in the petition, the learners level a number of specific allegations or complaints against the college and its management, namely, that the incumbent principal of the college was dismissed from his previous employment after he was found guilty of fraud and corruption. That the said principal was recruited learners from Kurumana in the Northern Province and enrolled them at the college under the false pretense. Chairperson, the college and these practices, along with others factors, had given rise to the submission of the petition to the NCOP. Chairperson, a large number of black learners failed or dropped out, and there are no plans in place to reduce or lower the failure or dropout rate of black learners. As part of its recruitment processes, the college required learners to a contract with only the services, and not with the National Skills Fund. Therefore, Chairperson, the recommendation by the committee, after deliberating on the submission made during the hearing on the petition, the committee made the following recommendation. The committee notes that the complaints contained in the petitions fall within the competence and preview of the National Department of Higher Education. Therefore, the committee accordingly recommends that the petitioners refer the complaints contained in the petition to the National Department of Higher Education so as to ensure the complaints are thoroughly investigated and resolved. Thank you, Chairperson.
Honorable Quimby, just so that I am clear. The last one is that that report, does it refer to Kaulelo community petition? Because is it the same? The one that you just read?
Yes, please. It's referred to, ma'am, to the. It's referred to notes of the Skills College petition.
No, you were supposed to give us order number 13.
Sorry?
Order number 13 is the hearing of the Kaulelo community petition hearing, which was at the Park Hotel in Mokopane in Limpopo.
Okay.
Therefore, the record will be struck because the order that must be considered right now is this one that I have just read. It was in Mokopane in Limpopo.
In Limpopo.
Sipitani Commission.
Sipitani Commission, sorry, ma'am. Thank you, Chairperson. Thank you very much.
Correct?
Yes, Nifumene.
What is the point of order, Honorable Mukweli?
To tell the honest truth, Honorable Chair, Honorable Quimby is not prepared to this presentation of reports. He appealed to me to say he was caught off guard because he was not prepared. That is why you are seeing him struggling like this. He doesn't even know which report must he present. These things has just been printed as I'm speaking to you.
Honorable Mukweli, you have just bought him a few minutes to prepare himself. This is a chairperson of a committee who should be prepared. The matters were on the order papers, therefore there is no excuse, Honorable Quimby. I do sympathize with you if you were hearing for the first time, but once the matters are above the line, you must be prepared for them. Yeah, Honorable Quimby,
yes,
are you ready?
Let me sort of a little bit of my papers, commenting.
Usota epike ngoku ubuthe uyifumene leyana. No, Honorable Mkweli. Uyifumene tata?
Yes, you get it.
Yeah, all right now.
Yes,
Okay,
let's
Leana
go.
yase Limpopo tata.
Leana Limpopo,
Mukopane
yes.
Limpopo.
Yes, it's one that it was submitted by Kehalakalo Community Petition. Yes, as a Kaulele community
Yes, that's the one.
on the 24th of September 2014, and was referred to this committee, which is Select Committee on Petition and Executive Undertaking,
Yes.
by the chairperson of the National Council of Provinces on the 30th of September 2014. The petition is submitted by Mr. Marcelo Koma on behalf of the Khaselekholele community. Therefore, Chairperson, the petition is submitted by DM Masekholele on behalf of the community and raises a number of concerns in relation to the relocation agreement entered into by community and Rustenburg Platinum Mines Limited. And therefore, the Platinum Mine Limited is subsidiary of Anglo-American Platinum Limited. And the holder of the converted mine rights to Maholokwana Mines. The mine is situated over a number of farms, including the farm of Resell 815. And notwithstanding
You are
that,
protected to
RPM, the holder of mine rights to it, is important to highlight that it is not the holder of the surface right to the mine. The surface rights are owned by the Mabela Traditional Council and held in trust on behalf of the Mambela Traditional Council by the state. As part of the mine's expansion plans, and in order for it to gain access to the one body, secure land for the mining infrastructure. Chairperson, let me go straight to Anglo-American Platinum Limited. It is ensure compliance with the provision of the board-based social economic empowerment charter to the South African mining and mineral industry, particularly the provision relating to the beneficiaries' ownership, procurement and enterprise development, and mine community development in its operations at the mine. Anglo-American Platinum Limited is to expedite the processes of exhuming and cutting the 1,400 remaining graves on the farm Oversell, as well as the 9 graves located in the yard of one of the houses visited during the inspection. The Maholakwana mine is to inspect all the houses in the has built for the community in order it to identify and expeditiously attend to the structural defects. The Department of Rural Areas and to Reform is to fast-track and expedite the significant designing of the notarial lease. The Mogolokwana municipality is to directly involve and engage the community and mine in addressing the service delivery challenges facing the community. And the recent elected trustees of the community are to ensure the trust is operated and managed in a manner that benefits the community as the whole. Chairperson, this is the recommendation from the committee. Chairperson, thank you.
Thank you very much. That concludes the debate. I know. We proceed, Mfundisi, to the last one. That is the report of the Select Committee on the hearings of the Makudubela petition. It was held on the 8th of June in Parliament. Makudubela.
Maputubela, Chairperson. Is it the... Thank you, Chairperson. The Maputubela petition is one that I know, Maputubela Commission. Makutubela is the skills.
The Makudubela report. That was the report that was 80-seat.
Okay.
Order, Maqabane. Order, compatriots.
Thank you, Chairperson. The Makutubela report in Limpopo.
Yep.
The Makutubela report was submitted on the 24th of September, 2014. The Chairperson, this petition was submitted to the Petition and Executive Committee on the 30th of September 2014. The petition is submitted by Mr. D.M. Maselehomo on behalf of the community and raises a number of concerns in relation to the relocation agreement entered by the community of Rustenburg Platinum Mines Limited. Limited of submission of Anglo-American Limited and the holder of the coveted mining rights to Magalekwana mine. The mine in question is situated over a number of farms, including farm oversell of 1815, and notwithstanding that the RPM, the holder of mining rights to the mine, it is important to highlight that it is not the holder of the surface rights to the mine. The surface rights are owned by the Mapela Traditional Council of Transa Council held in trust on behalf of the Mapela Traditional Council by the state as part of mines expansion plans. And in order to it to gain access to the body.
Honorable Kumbi?
Yes, ma'am.
You're reading the wrong one.
I think I'm wrong. I repeated the one. Eh?
Yes.
Yeah.
Members, let's just give the chairperson a chance to collect. They did give you the report, I am sure.
Yes, Chairperson, this is, okay. The Kurubela petition dated 15 March 2016 was referred to the Select Committee of the
That is the word.
Yes, an executive undertaking for consideration by the Chairperson of the National Council of Provinces. Therefore, Chairperson, the petition is submitted by Mr. Oledi Makupibela and relates to the unfair treatment she was received from various government situations or entities on her request for obtained justice for herself and her loved ones. In the petition, the petitioner specifically levels complaints against the South African Broadcasting Corporation, the Department of Justice and Constitutional Development, Legal Aid South Africa, the South African Police Service, the Department of International Relations and Corporations, the Department of Health, and the Office of Public Works. Chairperson, this is the one that after the submission by the African Police, okay, after the committee listen and hearing from the lady, from Mrs. What's this? Makutubela, the observations of findings. The committee made the following observations and findings in relation to the hearing. The OPP has made findings and recommended remedial action for the most of the complaints raised by the petitioner. The SABC has complied with the most of the recommended remedial action outlined in the report of the OPP. The OPP was unable to make determinations on the conduct of SAPC with regards to the alleged mysterious death of Ms. Makukubela, brother, as well as the death of Dr. de Klerk. The OPP did, however, undertake to refer the matter to the Civil Secretariat for Police for further and thorough investigation. SAPS committed to ensuring that the investigation into the alleged murder of the petitioner's brother, Mr. Makukubela, and the case of police brutality that the petitioner opened as Sinoville Police Station are concluded. Chairperson, the recommendation after deliberation on the submission made during the hearing on the petition. The committee notes that Ms. Makutubela initially referred the complaints contained in the petition to the Office of the Public Protector prior to approaching the NCOP for relief. Therefore, the committee respects and affirms the findings and the remedial action taken by the Office of the Public Protector in relation to the complaints referred to it by Mr. Makubela. The committee knows that Mr. Makubela is not satisfied with the findings and remedial action taken by the Office of the Public Protector, and therefore recommends that Ms. Makubela make a written request to the Office of the Public Protector outlining reasons for her complaints to be reconsidered. I thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you, sir.
Makutubela. Thank you, Chair.
Honorable members, we must now put the question to the we must now put the question, and the question is that the report on order number 11, which is consideration of the report on the hearing of the Provincial House of Traditional Leaders petition that was held in Parliament on the 18th of May 2016, be agreed to. I therefore continue to the votes and invite leaders of delegations to vote on that order. Eastern Cape?
Eastern Cape support the report, Chair.
The Free State?
Free State, yes, support it, Chair.
Gauteng?
Gauteng agrees.
KwaZulu-Natal?
KwaZulu-Natal support.
Limpopo? Mpumalanga?
Mpumalanga agrees.
Northern Cape?
Northern Cape agrees.
Northwest?
Northwest Yadumela.
Western Cape?
Western Cape agrees.
Thank you very much. All provinces have voted, and therefore the report has been agreed to in terms of Section 65 of the Constitution. I therefore put order number 12. Am I correct? 12, 13. I put order number 13, and the question is that the report be agreed to. I shall proceed to the voting, and I will do so by inviting leaders of delegations. The Eastern Cape,
Eastern Cape support, Chair.
Free State,
Free State ya dumela, Chair.
Gauteng,
Gauteng agrees.
KwaZulu-Natal,
KwaZulu-Natal agrees.
Limpopo, Mpumalanga,
Mpumalanga is agreeable, Chair.
Northern Cape,
Northern Cape agrees, Chair.
Northwest,
Northwest ya dumela, Chair.
Western Cape.
Western Cape agrees.
Thank you very much. All provinces have voted in the affirmative. Therefore, the report has been agreed to in terms of Section 65 of the Constitution. We proceed to the 14th order of the day, and that is that the report be agreed to. I proceed to the voting and ask the heads of delegations. Head Eastern Cape,
Eastern Cape support, Chair.
Free State,
Free State support.
Gauteng,
Gauteng supports.
KZN,
Agrees.
Limpopo, Mpumalanga,
Mpumalanga agrees.
Northern Cape,
Northern Cape agree.
Northwest,
Northwest agrees.
Western Cape.
Western Cape agrees.
Thank you very much. All provinces have voted in favor, and therefore the report has been agreed to in terms of Section 65 of the Constitution. Honorable members, that concludes the debate and the business of the day. You are requested to remain standing whilst the procession leaves the House.